Ever wondered why writing clean, efficient, and maintainable C code can seem like a daunting task? Well, you're not alone. The good news is that with the right approach and a few handy tips, it doesn't have to be. C, being a low-level language, gives programmers a lot of power. But as the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility. This responsibility entails writing code that is not just functional, but also efficient and maintainable. So how can we achieve this? First and foremost, always comment your code. While this may seem like an obvious suggestion, it's surprising how often it's overlooked. Comments not only help others understand your code, but they can also serve as a useful reminder for you when you come back to your code after a while. Remember, the goal is to explain why something is done, not how it's done. That's what the code is for. Secondly, use meaningful names for variables and functions. While it might be tempting to name a variable X or Y, it's much more beneficial in the long run to give it a name that describes its purpose. This makes your code easier to read and understand, not just for others, but for you as well. Next, keep your functions small and focused. A function should do one thing and do it well. If you find your function getting too large or complex, it's probably a sign that it needs to be broken down into smaller, more manageable functions. This not only improves readability, but also makes debugging a lot easier. Also, avoid global variables as much as possible. While they may seem convenient, global variables can make your code difficult to understand and debug. Instead, try to pass variables as function arguments wherever possible. This makes your code more modular and easier to maintain. Lastly, always strive to write simple, clear code. While it might be tempting to show off your coding skills with complex one-liners, remember that the main goal is to write code that's easy to read and understand. After all, code is read more often than it's written, so readability should always be a priority. So, to recap, here are our key takeaways for writing clean, efficient, and maintainable C code. 1. Comment your code to explain why something is done. 1. Use meaningful names for variables and functions. 1. Keep your functions small and focused. 1. Avoid global variables as much as possible. 1. Write simple, clear code. Remember, the goal isn't just to write code that works, but to write code that's easy to understand and maintain. By following these tips, you're well on your way to becoming a more effective C programmer. So go ahead and start writing some clean, efficient, and maintainable C code today.